Moving on, Palantir reporting second quarter earnings, beating estimates on the top and bottom lines and raising full-year guidance. And joining me now is Joe Bonner, Senior Securities Analyst at Argus Research. Joe, it is good to see you. So listen, Palantir reports, Joe, that stock is surging here in the after hours. Walk us through the report. What'd you make of it, Joe?
Yeah, good afternoon. They had a bar of 22% revenue growth. They came in 27% total revenue. But the real performance indicator that I look at is that U.S. commercial revenue. That bar is 40%, and they came in at 57% growth. So really blew it out. Margins, we're looking for maybe 6-7 points of margin expansion. They blew that out too. I mean, so a really a great on a really tough day for tech stocks. It's a pretty great report.
And Joe, I'm just curious. They've obviously made their push into AI with AIP, and I'm just curious. What do you think their kind of competitive advantages are, Joe, in that space?
Well, they're taking a kind of differentiated approach here. They're not making their own large language model. What they're doing is taking their systems and marrying them with other models, basically, that are already out there, whether it's your commercial models like your Gemini or your ChatGPT, or like open source, or even their customers might have their own personalized models. Basically, so they're not spending big money on developing their own model. They're basically using those models with their own systems. So that's really their differentiation. Again, it's a lot cheaper. And there's kind of a thesis out there that maybe these large language models eventually become commoditized. So maybe it's not the best thing to go at their size investing in these big models.
And Joe, I'm interested. Heading into this print, there were some of your colleagues on the street, and they like Palantir, they like the company, they like the fundamentals. They were concerned about valuation. It just looked to them like it was price to perfection, is how one analyst put it. But Joe, you have a buy on the name, so you obviously still think here at these levels, valuation still attractive.
Yeah, and again, if you think about their business, they were government for a long, long time. Now they're expanding into the commercial realm, and whether it's in the U.S. or international, this is a big move for them, a big pivot into this commercial realm, and it could provide a lot of opportunities.
And finally, Joe, who would you consider, when clients ask, you're thinking about kind of the competitive landscape, who would you consider Palantir's rivals, really?
They don't have a lot of rivals. I mean, it's a very unique type of service. On the commercial side, there are companies like ServiceNow that do similar things, but not really the same, because Palantir's technology is more for very complex problems. They're not your everyday software.
All right, Palantir, I'm looking at the chart, Joe, right now in the after hours, up about 17%. Not a bad move. Joe, thank you so much for joining us today. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.